Are you planning to retire outside of Canada? Or maybe you have thought about it and you are curious to know how it affects your CPP, OAS, or even the GIS. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to be talking about that today. Now, let's start off with CPP. Now, the Canada Pension Plan is a benefit that you pay into. And because you pay into that, you can generally receive regardless of where you live. As long as you have contributed to the plan, you will receive your benefits. Nonetheless, you'll need to provide Service Canada with your foreign address, your banking information, just to make sure that the payments are sent to the right account overseas. OAS is not as simple. OAS, if you watch my other video, you will know you could qualify to receive OAS payments with as little as 10 years living in Canada after age 18. Now, this is a social program. This is not something you pay into. It's based on residency. So this is not a situation where you've paid into it, and so you don't automatically receive the benefits, right? To qualify for OAS payments while living abroad, you must have lived in Canada for at least 20 years after the age of 18. If you do not meet the 20-year residency requirement, you may still qualify for OAS if Canada has a social security agreement with the country you're moving to. And as you will see, the country you're moving to is super important because then it's affected by the treaty, and the treaty there will determine a lot of things. We'll talk about that further. If you do not qualify to receive your old age security pension while outside of Canada, your payments will stop. Specifically, if you're out of country for more than 6 months after the month you've left, then the payments will stop. Now, once you've returned, you notify Service Canada, and then what will happen is your payments will resume. Now, here's another thing you may be wondering about. OAS clawback, or the recovery tax, which applies to individuals here once you reach a threshold of income. It also applies to non-residents as long as it's not limited or exempted by a tax treaty. So this is interesting. Depending on where you are, there may be circumstances where you earn income above that threshold and you may not pay the recovery tax, right? Again, it's based on where you're going, and this is why you have to do research beforehand. You must file an OAS-RI, which is an old age security return of income, if you're a non-resident senior receiving OAS payments. That way, the folks know, the government knows, how much you're actually making, and this will be based on your worldwide income. So let's talk about GIS. The Guaranteed Income Supplement and allowance are based on residency and income, and they're generally not payable if you live outside of Canada for more than 6 months. So while there's some flexibility OAS, you will see that GIS payments are a lot more restrictive. Once you've been outside of Canada more than 6 months, then you're not going to receive it. So here's my big recommendation. My big recommendation is, for one, do your research. Look at the country that you're going to, look at the treaty, look at what's in place, because not only it affects your clawback, it may also affect your withholding tax. If no treaty is in place, then you will pay withholding tax, which at that particular time may be significant depending on your retirement plans and how much you're actually receiving. So this is not something that should be done lightly. You should take some time. Generally, you're going to do the research anyway because you want to look at the cost of living there and how much it's going to cost to live there and how far the funds that you have will take you. But nonetheless, from a benefit standpoint for CPP, OAS, and GIS, you want to take the time, do the research. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, I will drop some links to Service Canada below, and you can also reach out to me. Take care.